Hey, Mr. Jake786 is back again with another Friday the 13th game update video. This one comes quickly after my last one that I just gave you guys yesterday. I know you guys are wanting to know what's going on just as much as I am. I have some new info right here that was just released to Bloody Disgusting. But first I want to just say thanks for all the advice people have been leaving on the previous video for noobs. That video is coming up where I'm going to give all the advice that you guys are giving and give you guys credit, and I'm gonna just like do a little tutorial for people and all that good stuff. But right here we'll get to the statement. Here's the statement that was provided to Bloody Disgusting about the lawsuit and as it pertains to Friday the 13th the game. We are disappointed in the court's ruling and disagree with its conclusion. We are considering our options, including an appeal. We understand that this ruling has created confusion among some fans of the franchise, and more specifically, Friday the 13th the game players, who have questions about Friday the 13th content in the game. The court was very clear that its ruling in favor of Mr. Miller is limited to the original screenplay in which Jason's mother is the killer, spoilers, and that Mr. Miller's termination notice did not purport to terminate Horror Inc.'s separate copyright in the iconic supernatural killer who wears a hockey mask. While the ruling does not prevent Gunn from continuing to sell and operate the existing game, it may complicate adding certain content to the current game in the future. That part was in bold, by the way. Some have asked if a settlement could be reached with Victor Miller to enable the creation of new content, even if Gunn were in a position to continue to fund the game while it was waiting for such questions to be resolved. There is no evidence to date that such a settlement is possible. Friday the 13th director Sean Cunningham has previously reached out directly to Victor Miller to discuss a settlement. Miller responded by refusing to talk to Sean. Work on new content for fans was suspended because of the position that Miller has taken. Given Miller's unwillingness to discuss settlement to date and following the guidelines set down by the court's ruling, Horror Inc. intends to aggressively explore many opportunities for new projects featuring settings and characters not included in Mr. Miller's screenplay. Horror Inc. will be providing additional details on the Friday the 13th projects in the near future. So that's about the end of it. Now, some key things to go over here. The article, this statement was given by Horror Inc., their representatives, whoever, probably one of their lawyers probably came up with this to give to the PR person and release this statement. It's funny, it obviously has a bias in Sean Cunningham's favor. It paints him as a good guy who's reaching out. They're trying to get the player base of this game and fans of the franchise on Sean Cunningham's side. Victor Miller did what he did. He was within his rights to do what he did. He got a lot of hate for that already. So there's no hate needed for both sides, and I just want both of them to come to an agreement. That's basically what I want. But getting back to that, how the court was clear that its ruling in favor of Mr. Miller is limited to the original screenplay in which Jason's mother is the killer. Pamela was never put in this game as a character. I know they had the tapes. Would the tapes get removed? Maybe there's a compromise. Tapes get removed. New Jason stuff comes to the game where he's a hockey mask killer. Jason in the screenplay, it's the little boy Jason that was in the first movie, and that was kind of a dream sequence, or I don't know, whichever you decide to believe, if it's canon or not. But the little boy Jason was pretty much the only Jason you've seen in that first movie, if you've watched it. Not the giant adult hockey mask machete wielding Jason that we all know and love so much. So I think there's some kind of compromise that needs to be made, and it needs to be made clear to Gun Media by Victor Miller's representatives or Victor Miller himself and Horror Inc. that Gun Media can go ahead and keep working and releasing stuff for this game. Like, we're all waiting for it. To me, it sounds like Gun is in the gray area, and Black Tower Studios now, no more Ilphonic, working on the game to do support and whatnot. It sounds like they're in a gray area where they could kind of get away with it. Jason X has nothing to do with Victor Miller. As far as I know, the Grendel map, nothing to do with anything Victor Miller ever wrote in the 70s for a screenplay. Has nothing to do with it. So, I don't know what's going on, what the future holds for this game. I'm just saying, my perspective, they need to come to an agreement, and it needs to be made clear what Gun can and can't do. It sounds like Gun took the opportunity, not sending hate to them saying this, but they took the opportunity to bail out on updating this game any further as soon as they saw that the lawsuit was coming, or that the lawsuit was actually being worked on again, and Victor Miller had frozen the rights, the licensing rights. I just don't see how the Grendel map and Jason X have anything to do with the first screenplay as it pertains to the case itself. The courts decided the first screenplay is what Victor Miller has won rights on. Everything else, and internationally, by the way, because these rights are only for North America, it seems like, possibly even just the US. It seems like Victor Miller is more limited than Gun Media is thinking, and I think Gun Media just pulled the plug prematurely when they could have been maybe working with their lawyers and Victor Miller's lawyers and Horror Inc. lawyers and getting a written statement that says, okay, you can release this stuff. It has nothing to do with the first screenplay. That's my perspective on it, guys. Let me know what you're thinking. I know there's a lot of frustration. There's a lot to chew on in this article. I should link it down below for you guys. And thanks so much again for everybody who's been supporting the channel and subscribing recently. Let me know if you're a new player and what you think, and if you would like to see new content coming out for the game, because I know us old players are dying for it. So I would love some new perspective as well, if you are one of the new players. So let me know what you think about all this lawsuit stuff. Thanks so much for all the support on all my videos, liking, sharing, subscribing, all that good stuff. And you know, Mr. Jake will be out here on the internet, scouring for that day when the update comes that says Jason X and the Grendel and Uber Jason, all that stuff is coming. Let's hope we're getting there, guys. I'm still holding out hope for this. This statement kind of makes that clear to me, even though it's a little biased to Sean Cunningham and against Victor Miller. But okay, thanks so much for joining me. Mr. Jake 786 is always looking out for you. Take care. You know I love you. I do.